Hello, everyone. This is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot Astrology and Spirituality. How are you all today, wherever you are in the world when you're watching? A huge shout out to you. Gosh, that's my usual introduction, and I got all the way through it. So, it's Sunday morning here on the weekend, and I've had a pretty leisurely weekend. I hope that you are too doing so too. Thank you for all your donations. That's top of the list. For those that are doing it tough and are feeling, I really want to donate. No, you look after yourself first and foremost. And there are other causes that people can donate to as well, including in their own community or country. Those people that are in Ukraine, for example, everybody needs help. So you are absolutely welcome here. And for those that have sent in donations, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you also to those people who have sent in or written comments. Thank you for those as well. Thank you for those that like, and thank you for those that subscribe. This all helps my channel grow. Welcome to new subscribers from all across the world. I see the analytics, and this is a channel that does draw in people from all over the world. So, I promised you a climate change reading, and I've spent a little bit of time preparing for this and looking through my third eye. I'll describe the images first and then we'll get started. I've prepared a number of decks and then we'll get started on the actual reading. I've also been given a number of clairvoyant phrases as well. Things are being remade or made. No, things are being made. I think that was the phrase. I got an image of a pearl, glowing white pearl or orb energy, and it was surrounded by a maelstrom of wind and colours, particularly red, and red is associated with the base chakra, the heart of everything. It's the fire energy, as well as our sacral chakra, of course, which is associated with the colour of orange. Yellow, wisdom and learning. So I got this image of a pearl being surrounded by just a huge amount of these colours like wind. It's hard to describe, really. I can see it in my mind's eye, but they are the base chakras here, the lower body chakras. And when we think about what they mean, red, of course, is around our feelings of security in this world. The orange is around our expression and our confidence. And the yellow, of course, is the solar plexus chakra, which is associated with the color yellow. And it is around the getting of wisdom. And so then we move into the green of the heart chakra that then I saw almost like alien or intergalactical beings of some description. They were channeling like this green energy through a portal. And that green, of course, is associated, as I said, with the heart chakra, which is love. Now, all the while the pearl was ascending. The pearl, I think, is the earth. The pearl is precious. The pearl is formed over time and gives something of beauty. And yet it was surrounded by so much chaos. I saw images, of course, of flames and of floods and of earth moving, earthquakes. And I've been seeing those for years now. Whenever I read on climate change, I get the same images, almost like, and people trapped underwater from the ice melting and then somehow falling through. So all of these images that I've been getting are what's occurring at the moment. Fires in Europe and the UK, much like what we had in Australia in 2019-20, searing heat waves that have never been experienced in areas like the UK and Europe in the past. In Australia, we live in an arid continent. We know how to adapt to that heat. And I think things are being made, things are changing. We are in a period of change. Now, we've also had fires in the US. And again, the searing temperatures that are unprecedented. And in Australia, our beloved arid continent, all along the east coast, I've lost count of the times we've had major floods. And in fact, the floods have been so unprecedented, they've covered complete buildings. Towns are having to relocate huge amounts of their CBD and other residential areas up higher out of flood zones because this is what is predicted. Australia and the US have been doing a lot of work in the Pacific Islands to commit to climate change targets. In Australia, we're looking at net zero in a lot of our big polluting industries by 2050, and we've committed to, I think it is 43% by 2030 reduction in emissions. So in the US, of course, remember I had that image of the coal truck down the mine, wondered why that was so significant, and I keep getting that draw to the coal baron, who is the Senator Joe Manchin, blocking Biden's climate change agenda. And now Biden will look at executive actions. Now, coming back to the pearl, when I was seeing that image, and again I go back to the colours of the base chakras, until we grow, because one of the, I guess the themes of the base chakra is our security and our place in the world and in the societies we live in, based on our experiences. Sacral chakra, if we don't express ourselves, if we can't express ourselves, if we're not confident in doing that, we hang on to the past when we are both insecure and not confident about the future. And then we get the wisdom, the solar plexus, the wisdom and the growth. So as quick as, and I do feel there's a quickening of climate change, I've got that question there. As quick as the evidence is presenting itself, the change is not keeping up in some parts of the world. In other parts of the world, this is a period of huge change, and it's a period where things are being made. It's a period of new orders, really. And so the change has to be very deep. Very, very deep. All right, so as I said, I've got a number of decks here to move through our questions. I'm just going to pull some oracles to start off with, and then we'll look at the questions. But for now, I want to see through the Stacey DeMarco's, the Elemental Oracle, and the... Which is it? I've forgotten what that deck is. Yes, the Shamanic Medicine Oracle cards, the Light Seer Tarot, and the Crow Tarot. We will move through a series of themes and questions for this reading. And I get that there's a lot of fear, but the other clairaudient type of phrases that I've received so far is it's almost like the adaptation, what we make, has to come through all of our systems. For example, if we're going to live in these climates with arid temperatures, if we're going to still choose to be there, then our building systems will have to change. There's a whole lot of adaptation that needs to be made in order to continue to live the way that we do, or else we find a new way. I am seeing the image of alien beings, and I feel that they're pretty close as I do this reading. In some cases, we won't be able to live in the locations that we currently do now, and that will be coastal areas as well. So we're madly trying to build seawalls here on the east coast of Australia, but the most realistic of us know that the hinterlands are now the safest place to be. The Pacific Islands are going to need a lot of help, and I think Australia and the US really do stand ready to do that. Those more arid areas, yeah, climate change needs to be in the mainstream, not on the fringe. Until it is, we're not going to get a handle on this. All right, let's see what are the messages here, just the overarching messages around climate change for us. What are the, a lot of work needs to be done. Planning, the power of volcanoes, and that's the other message that I got. There is no way to hold this back. There is no way. We've reached a particular point in time where the time to actually start acting was decades ago. And when you think about the process of evolution, and we go back to our chakra energetic body, we come to the heart and the throat, the expression, the love, and then we move up to the clairvoyant, the third eye, and the crown chakras, which is a spiritual, living a spiritual life. It's like we talked about ascension. We a couple of years ago, we all assumed, and there were some people that said we were just going to float up onto a white cloud, and those of us who were evolved would leave the others behind in some kind of, hell of their own making. No, it's a whole lot more realistic than that. If you think about what it truly means to be evolved, it means wisdom, security, confidence, learning the lessons, love, expression of love, and living that higher intentioned life. And I feel that nature will keep throwing these things at us until we do start to ascend. Now we have endurance and rock. So I've never had any doubt who's in charge here, and it is the earth. And in fact, she is doing what she needs to do, and we are part of her. So when you look at what nature is doing, you can probably overlay that onto what we're doing to ourselves. But we have the rock and we have endurance. Beginnings to the east. Beginnings to the east. So, as I said, there's no doubt that we will endure. The east can be the sunrises, new days, things being remade. It can also be solutions presenting themselves, working together. In some ways, I think this is also the earth. I mean, this is such a big question that the earth is remaking. Things are being made. Wisdom, becoming wise. The East and the West, beginnings, wisdom. In some cases, the way that we live is just not sustainable. And we're finding that out. Magnetism and attraction. The North and the South Pole are moving at an increasingly rapid rate. Future generations. The certainty here is that we can't live in the past anymore. An expansion in the north. So now we're seeing the east and the north, east and northerly directions, beginnings in the east, expansion in the north. One more, and fluidity in the outer core. Everything is changing. Things are being made. All right, the underlying energy here is oceans and bravery. And the earth, the temperatures and the ice shelf in the ice shelves that are melting. I think there was a unprecedented temperature down in Alaska, Greenland, and melting of ice shelves there that they have never ever seen in this lifetime. We have wind so much, the temperatures and the wind, the air, what's coming through our air, and to make equal the equator. To make equal the equator. I'm glad I chose that deck. So things are changing. I'm not sure what's happening to at the equator, but things are moving. And yeah, some of us will have to relocate. All right, so what is the medicine here? What is the medicine here for us? What is the medicine here? Through this shamanic medicine oracle, what is the medicine here for the collective, please? For the wounds of the base chakra and the sacral chakra and the learnings and lessons that we're going to have to go through and undergo. I don't know why I'm getting a locomotive train. We were so quick, weren't we, to modernise from the steam industrial type era to what we have now. Journey, imagination. So again, when all is not lost, I mean, we are clever human beings when we want to be. And when we move toward that critical mass where enough of us want the change, we will start coming up with solutions. And the imagination, we've been gifted with that, haven't we? And as far as we can see, as far as the third eye can see, what we can dream, we will build. We will build it in a way that is empathetic with the earth, ancestors and wisdom. This is the conditions of our time, but I'm pretty sure that in the earth's history, in human history, we've had such a time where things are made and things are being remade. The drum, awaken. Those that don't awaken Remember, we're moving toward this, we are moving toward this critical mass, and I'll ask that question, where enough of us are awake, where those that are asleep lose power, don't have the power to make the decisions. The stone people knowing. The earth knows what she's doing. In a way, trusting that. Medicine shield, protection, yeah. And being realistic about what we need to do. Again, embedding those climate change adaptions into our every system that we have. And bones for casting divination. Well, using your intuition as well. Do you want to move to the sea? Do you want to move to that cliff top type of house? Probably not. Soul retrieval and reclaiming our souls. Every time the pendulum goes too far to that side, we have to face this kind of bringing back to the center. The center. So this is a period of great change. All right, so let's see if I'm going to go to my Crow Tarot now. And let's just include a question for the skeptics who say, yes, this is climate change, but no, it's not man-made. Is this climate change man-made? They just ignore the science. They debunk the science. Is this climate change man-made? So the potential, what I'm getting is like stones in a river, and then the flow of the river getting stronger and stronger. The potential was always there for this to occur, and man-made climate change has accelerated a flow of changes that we're currently seeing. Is this climate change man-made? So we have here the 7 of rods, defending oneself. Defending oneself. 7, of course, is learning. We have the 9 of swords, which is anxiety. So there's a lot of anxiety around this question. Again, confidence and security and wisdom are the hallmarks of cornerstones, if you want, of evolution toward our higher selves, a higher view, a more informed view, a more Aquarian view. Saturn in Aquarius, Pluto to go into Aquarius, the 3 of Pentacles. So I asked, was this climate change man-made? And we've got the 3 of Pentacles. So we've got collecting things, storing things. 3 of Pentacles is associated with one of those cards with the work, without casting judgment, the work, we live in societies that that's told us, accumulate, strive as much as you can, but what have we been accumulating? And at whose expense or what expense have we been accumulating? The Knight of Pentacles in the past was reliability of the way that we accumulated our wealth, but that's in the past. What's in the sky? Retreat, wounded in battle, having to draw back. So even though we have energy crisis because we've been hit with so much learning, the market for coal and coal-fired power is just not there. And we've got a retreat away from burning fossil fuels. The Queen of Swords, logic. Logic and planning. When we ask why, that card I think came up in the outcome around a inner knowing, an inner knowing of what needs to happen to stabilize things. Now here we have the Five of Wands. It's a very difficult energy. It's in the present here. The Five of Wands, partisanship, ego, competition, fighting, obstacles, challenges. But the environment around is death, endings. And so if you want some kind of optimism, this is it. That the death of previous ways of doing things through the tragedies of nature. I mean, how many died in the fires? How many homes were burnt in the UK? Temperatures they'd never experienced before. How many died in the floods? And yet we still have this energy, but it's in the here and now. The other aspect of death is that this is ending. It's difficult to see how we can cooperate, come together and do something about climate change, but we will be forced to. There will be no other way around it. In the hopes and fears, we fear that this will come to fruition in time, and we need to plan for it. The Queen of Wands in the outcome. Planning, strategies, bravery, moving forward, strength. And the outcome, is it man-made? That's a yes card. The Queen of Wands and the Fool. Another yes card. The Fool, new beginnings, needing to plan, needing to get that motivation, which the Queen of Wands does. It's not the King of Wands, is it? It's the Queen of Wands. Two queens in this reading. And the Knight of Wands, movement forward. So there's your three outcome cards. Is it man-made? Yes. At the base of the pack, Three of Wands, needing to do the work now. Another Queen, Queen of Cups. What is being revealed to us? Heartbreak, loss, grieving, the Tower card. But we have this manifestation above it all. The alchemist above it all. Needing to build those systems. Needing to mitigate pollution. Needing to care for the climate. It's non-negotiable. It is man-made. We move the rocks and now we've got a flow that we can't manage and we can't stop. All right, so something a little bit positive. No, okay, so, all right, we'll go to, is it quickening? Let's see what, is it speeding up? So I'm seeing the Ace of Cups we are being offered and the Maelstrom. It's quickening because we're being offered a chance to do something about this. Quickening is climate change, man-made climate change. The Earth will always undergo changes, but we move those rocks through our greed. We went against the natural flow of things. Whole lot of cards came out. Is it quickening up? The Six of Wands. Yes. Victory. being victorious over something, the Empress, Mother Earth herself, there's the cup. Strength, she's showing her strength. But we have the Star. She must do what she must do. This is her way to restore sustainability for herself. And when you think that we are part of the earth, this is our way of restoring sustainability. We've lost 3 cups, we're being offered. The Ace of Cups, we have an offering. All is not lost. But we do have to make decisions. We can no longer live in delusion or illusion, and it is inevitable. The Judgment card and the Sun. It is inevitable that we have to plan and replan for the future. So one of the ways for my American friends that this might happen is that the Democrats with their climate change agenda will increase their majority in the Senate. So they no longer have to rely on a coal baron who is scuppering climate change mitigation. And of course, the US is one of the big countries, along with China and India, let's not forget India, that need to mitigate. The engine of their economies to do something about man-made climate change. We all do. It's not just those economies. We all do. So there is a quickening. The earth is showing her strength. We had climate change summits where countries signed on to net zero emissions by 2050. Is climate change mitigation, are targets going to help? Are the way we are changing going to help? Mind you, I think the choice is gone now. I think that the earth is going to survive. It's whether or not we will. Okay, so and I'm reminded, so this is an oppression of us. And I'm reminded that future generations won't do the things the way that we do. And in fact, that's Saturn in Aquarius, Jupiter, I think it's in Pisces, but at the moment we'll go back to Aquarius, Pluto moving toward Aquarius. All of these things, I'm reminded that they will act for the greater good, for the many, in an evolved way. So what we're doing now, we're almost like we're at the very beginning of this. And I'm seeing that first oracle card, Endurance, the Rock. What we're doing now, will it make a difference? So 4 of Swords, wounded in battle, retreat. I mean, these cards are realistic. We're not doing enough. But we've got the Queen of Cups here sitting in that watery throne. Revelations. She is revealing. The foundation is the Ace of Wands. New plans, new starts, new passions. We're at the beginning of this. In the past, we have the King of Cups, wisdom. Enough of us had the wisdom to even broach the subject of mitigating net zero emissions. Like, we had the wisdom to know what was going to happen. So don't think we're all unenlightened beings. The leaders had that kind of wisdom to know that something needed to be done, that we had an ending. This is potential ruination in the sky crowning this reading, an ending of a cycle. There are those crows again. We've got the Four of Cups. We are continually disappointed by that Five of Wands energy, by that, the negative, or what we have to learn, okay? We are continually disappointed, and we will be brought to the table one way or another. There's that Ace of Cups again. All is not lost, is I'm feeling these cards are saying. Five of Pentacles, money loss, being left out in the cold. There's a key there. The secret to unlocking that door is including everybody in this. Unity comes back to unity again. Five of Cups, what is lost? Fives are change. This is a period of great change. When we see that we can't do business in the way that we always have done, we have to remake things. Make and remake. Because we have this quickening. People fear it. People understand what is coming here. We have the Hanged Man. Pausing. We're in a period of, we've started to have the conversations. We've started to bring in some mitigation. But we need to look at something in a different way. And the Ace of Cups moving up through into that heart chakra. And the King of Wands being brave enough to do it. So we are going to face, basically. So we've begun the process, that's good. But it's like a stop and a start because the change is so grave. We still have a way. The sacrifice, there will be sacrifices. But this is what ultimately does move things forward. The Ace of Cups moving up into that heart chakra, acting for the many, taking the brave decisions. I wonder if the old way of doing things, I wonder if those old greedy mantras, I wonder if they know that they are actually in that maelstrom and that their way is ultimately over. What's at the base of the pack? The Three of Wands, doing the work. We're in the process or the period of doing the work. We have moving out of troubled waters. We've seen enough. We're anxious. We understand what the earth is, what is happening. This man-made climate change. We took away the guardrails and we quickened we unleashed a process. The earth's process of healing is what we're seeing now, and we have these decisions to make. But there is so much partisanship, so many obstacles and challenges. It just is so very difficult. This is a maelstrom, a time of change. Okay, so I'm going to look at one last question. I'm going to move to the oracle cards, the shamanic medicine. They're always good for showing a way forward. Okay, what do we need to know? Knowing that we're on this pathway forward, it is a path that we've really chosen. We've chosen for ourselves. It's a path that there are no I mean, it only leads into the same direction. If only they knew that, they might start to change right now. Be true trailblazers and pioneers and start to change now. What do we need to know? What do we need to know? Spirit, I've got an X here, a crossroads. Okay. And know that the crossroads are burning. Okay, so what do we need to know, Spirit? I'm just, smiling because we've got an opportunity to join the enlightened ones, start to build our own systems, be the change that we want to see, advocate for the change, do the things we're already doing and do them more, be the sustainability and reliability for change, not giving up. We've started something. We've already started a way forward. Okay, that's important to remember. The earth will survive. We will survive. This is a process of change we cannot stop. We can only be brought to our knees, and when we're on our knees, we will remake and make. What do we need to know, please? What do we need to know? Okay, so we have medicine shield protection, understanding that we are all divinely protected. And I want to say that medicine shield, we have the choice to protect ourselves. Medicine shield. Death and transmigration. So we have the choice to ascend. Each and every one of us that still, for example, don't think that climate change is man-made, we have a choice. We have a choice. Well, in some ways, we don't have a choice. Transmigration, the ending of something. And we've got offerings, wealth. What are we going to offer? What are we going to offer? So many situations across the world are linked to this. Water and expression, the emotions, and the tree people, sustenance, so much earth energy here. Soul retrieval, reclaiming our souls. There is only one pathway because the crossroads are burning. Journey and imagination. We're going to get there. We're going to get there because we are higher beings. We're going to be encouraged to step up into that higher wisdom. Through the lessons, we move upward. All right, I'm going to leave it there. That's a very deep dive on climate change. Come spring, inflation's so high you can't get a lettuce for under, I think it was $11 at one stage here. I think it's gone down a bit now. I'm just going to revamp the veggie garden and live the way that I want to live simply, live in harmony with nature. Speaking of nature, it's a beautiful winter's day where I live, and it's time for me to go outside. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now.